Let's discuss the political landscape in Nigeria today, because the fact is that President Tinubu is the president, and he's been president for the last 2 years. And looking at the state of the republic, with just about a month to go before he marks 2 years in office, what do you see? How do you assess those last 2 years?
Well, complete disaster. And like I told you, they wouldn't stop the killings. They haven't stopped the killings. I didn't report it. You people reported the killings in Jos, and many and many and many before that. They will not stop the killings. They will not stop the stealing and the wasting of Nigeria's blessed resources. They cannot unite Nigeria.
But is it really fair to say that? Because if you look at the United States of America, for example, they've got a very efficient police service, very efficient justice system and so on, but people get killed and massacred every day. I mean, you could say that the government isn't stopping it, but you can't preempt every crime, can you?
I totally disagree with you. You don't have the kind of stealing in the by government officials in the
I was just talking about one specific
the
thing,
insecurity,
which is insecurity.
I totally disagree with you. There has never been, in recent times, in the last century, a situation where you have the kind of killings that are happening in Jos, that happen in the United States. The U.S. Army has never bombed its own people. Nigerian Army does.
Yeah, but the circumstances are different.
No, look.
I mean, Nigeria is fighting an insurgency, America isn't.
Yes, but you have all sorts of crimes and uprisings. The analogy of the example between Nigeria and United States in this particular context is not that relevant, if you see what I mean. We have a hunter that has promised us for 12 years that when they ride out the Jonathan's government, there will be automatic security come with it. There will be automatic peace come with it. The economy will improve. The whole idea behind APC was a lie, is a lie. What did we notice when Buhari came in? Aggravated corruption, like never thought before. New dimensions to insecurity that you have been reporting. Conflict is in APC. Right now, the so-called...
Well, that's not the question, is it?
I'm answering you.
Right, okay.
Conflict is in APC, not in any other party. Why were powers not transferred to Shettima before Tinubu traveled out? Ask that question. That is what I call conflict. But real problem now is within the misruling party in Nigeria. You have a president that is out there frequently for long spells, and you have a vice here who hardly knows his left from his right, who has so many questions to answer about the desperation of politicians to get to power, about things that you and I really can finally get the liver to discuss. That is where problem is, and that's why I've told you that the quality of leadership in Nigeria has fallen to the ground. That is why anything goes, anything absolutely.
Right.
So let me ask you the question that Baba-Ahmed was asked. What is your assessment of Nigeria today? What is your assessment of what the United States calls the State of the Union? So let's transcribe that to ourselves. What is your assessment of the State of this Union today, Nigeria as of today? Do you agree with him actually that Tinubu's government is a complete disaster? That's what he said, that Tinubu's government is a complete disaster. Do you agree? We're going to look at the parameters with which you would judge that assessment anyway. But please, I want you to watch this to the end. And if you're meeting this content for the first time, like, share, and subscribe. And if you've been following us and you've not yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, please, and be part of the community. Let's come up with intelligent conversations to fix our country and rile up our more Nigerians to lend their voice towards the advancement of our nation. Let's get right into it. So he says, Tinubu's government is a complete disaster. Do you agree? Now, there were indicators that you would use to measure how good a government is and how effective a government is. And in this case, his assessment of Tinubu's government is a complete disaster. Now, you won't want to argue that he's in opposition, so he's allowed to give statements like that. But in case you taking that stand, the question will be, by what indicators or parameters are you using to judge the effectiveness or the lack of effectiveness of the Tinubu government or the APC government for the last 10 years? Remember, they were going to solve insecurity when they came in. They were going to bring down the cost of living when they came in. They were going to cut the cost of transportation, fuel, and all of those. Have they been able to do that for 10 years? These are the kind of indicators you will use or parameters you will use to mark or score card the government. He also said something about Shettima not knowing his left from right. He doesn't know what to do because when Bola Tinubu leaves Nigeria for France, as he has often done for a long period of time, he's never transferred power to Shettima. He continues to administer Nigeria from wherever he's at. So in this situation, we have our president that is missing from Nigeria for 17 days now, right? And there've been a lot of killings and insecurity in the country. Not even the vice president has made a statement. The president is a no-show. So would you look at these indicators or parameters and say, Datti Baba-Ahmed's analysis is right? Would you be able to adjudicate that from that angle to say, if there are killings in Nigeria, if there's banditry in Nigeria, and there's food scarcity in Nigeria, there is no light. The cost of living is high. The cost of procuring, for example, your data, your broadband is so high. How would you scorecard this particular government? Will it be a disaster like Datti Baba-Ahmed said? I mean, we've not talked about the rule of law, which is non-existent in Nigeria anyway. But again, I ask you, what is your assessment of Tinubu? What is your assessment of Shettima? What is your assessment of a country where government officials are prone to now steal with impunity? Okay, do you have confidence in the fact that you can travel the road from one state to another? You will not be afraid of banditry or being kidnapped? Because Nigeria is actually losing money because of this insecurity. Imagine terrorism forcing tourism not to work in the country. When people come into Nigeria, they stay in places like Lagos or they go to Abuja, where there's some form of security in those places. But interstate, there's kidnappings. If they can kidnap a DG of NYC, a former DG of NSV, or a senior police officer's wife or retired, who is there that they cannot kidnap? They cannot kidnap, rather. So that's the question. This is sort of the parameters you use to judge whether or not the government is effective. These are the kind of parameters you use to judge whether or not the people you employed, if we have to go by saying you voted for them, whether or not they're working. So in all of Datti Baba-Ahmed's assessment, it says Tinubu is out of the country all too frequently for long spells, and that Shettima needs to answer questions as well. So it talks about the character of the individuals we have as our leaders. So I want to ask you, if you are a Tinubu supporter or not, what if somebody asked you today to describe the president, the vice president, how would you describe them? Effective? Good? Kind leaders? Forward thinking? Creating advancement in Nigeria? Is that the kind of assessment you will give of the current administration? Because we're talking about the state of the nation. We're coming to 2 years of Tinubu's administration. If you look at your life, 2 years before Tinubu came in, would you say you were better off before he came in or after he came in? Would you say you've been able to afford more things since Tinubu came in? I know you might think these are rhetorical questions, kind of maybe, but yet they are questions that you must answer because this is about the state of the nation. How are the things that you can have? But first of all, do you have enough money in your pocket since Tinubu came in? Because, like I said, this is a part of the assessment or indicators or parameters you will use to assess the government. And then maybe in your scorecard, you can then say, like Datti Baba-Ahmed said, Tinubu's government is a disaster. Now you have a point because now you've done your assessment. You can now say their government is a disaster. So I ask you again to put that in the comment section and answer those questions that I've asked you. Because the interviewer asked Datti Baba-Ahmed, and I'm asking you this question so we can have these deliberations. Would you be voting for Bola Tinubu come 2027? By the way, let me even ask you, in your local vicinity, the people you talk to, when you talk about 2027 election as things are starting to eat up, what is the temperature of the people's feelings? Are they saying they're going to vote for Bola Tinubu come 2027? Are they saying they're going to defend their vote come 2027? Or are they saying that they've given up hope? They can't vote because their votes will not count, because they will be rigged out. Let's try to do this more or less informal census to see how things feels like. Whether or not you're in Lagos, Ibadan, or your state, Abuja, Edo State, Kwara, Kano, Benue State, wherever it is you're based. When you have this conversation with your loved ones, your friends, your family members, what is the feeling like? Do they have confidence that their vote will count in 2027? So as we answer these questions about the assessment of the Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, vis-a-vis looking into 2027, what is the feeling like? Is it something that you feel comfortable about? Yes, Bola Tinubu's assessment is good. Nigerians are looking forward to voting for him come 2027. Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar, El Rufai can go and sleep somewhere. Tinubu's got your mandate and the mandate of the people around you. Let's have this conversation in the comment section. Let's have this open debate, because in oftentimes they're not calling us to have conversation. That's what this channel is all about. Let's have this conversation, okay? Because we are the actual voters. We are the ones that will queue en masse to vote for these guys. And we are the ones who are worried about our votes being stolen from us by the IRS have a turned off, or they use the police to snatch up ballots, or thugs to snatch ballots and steal elections, and then declare themselves winners middle of the night. So what's the temperature like moving into 2027 right now, if you're looking at it from where you're standing right now? Let's have this conversation in the comment section. So I wanted to come to you and talk to you about this because we've heard Wike talk about how the opposition from PDP cannot win election 2027 because they're not serious. So we know he's a problem in his own party, but we're looking at credible opposition that can bring the fight to the APC and the rigging machine that they will put in place come 2027. And in doing so, we have to assess the candidates that we have. And then one of those credible candidates at the moment that we know will be contesting will be Peter Obi. Whether Atiku will decide to be a statesman is a different thing entirely. But if we look at all of these guys, do you really think Peter Obi's got a chance? Considering the fact that the consensus is that it was rigged out 2023. Is there a way we can go about doing it? Apart from these early campaigns we're doing and sensitization that we're doing from this channel, and maybe others as well, and your participation too as well. What do you think the temperature feels like in your place? But also, I want you to answer these questions too that I've asked earlier. What is the state of the nation from your perspective? Do you agree with what Datti Baba-Ahmed said? Is Nigeria in the right direction under Bola Tinubu's administration? Has been able to fix this insecurity issue, this banditry, these kidnappings? Or what about the corruption, the stealings of money by politicians, contract award without following due process? Answer these questions. And if you're close to power as well, chip in as well. Let us know what you think. These are just questions we're asking because now it's midterm into Bola Tinubu's administration. We want to know what the state of the union is. What is Nigeria right now to you? Can you afford your basic amenities? Can you pay for your children's tuition fee? What is life like for you since Bola Tinubu took over? If you have to go back 8 years before that, since Buhari's time. Again, look forward to your senior response in the comment section. And if you're meeting this content for the first time, like, share, and subscribe. And if you've been following us and you've not yet subscribed, please do so. Don't forget to share this content and this channel with others. We want everybody to participate in it. Because yeah, we have intelligent, conversations that are, nice. Things that really matters to you, your bread and butter conversation in your house. As always, God bless you. Bye-bye for now.